Hey guys, Tzar here and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. The scenario today is the Torpedo Menace by BBR. The invention of the torpedo and the associated threat of the torpedo boat has caused much panic among the Admiralties everywhere. This has given the Tzar an idea. Use torpedo boats on the high seas by attaching them to a tender. So the plan over here is to have one transport, which is going to function as the tender, and that tender carries a bunch of torpedo boats, almost like an aircraft carrier carries fighters. Now, we're facing the British. They have one battleship, one heavy cruiser, and two light cruisers. And my objective is to sink the the battleship, the big guy. Now, it is 1900, so the enemy will probably not have a lot of accuracy, but they might have a bunch of case-made guns. And that's going to make the approach for the light cruisers, or for the torpedo boats, even quite a bit more difficult. In order to win, I have to sink the battleship, but I can score bonus points for every additional warship that I sink, as well as for every additional torpedo boat of my own that survives. There is one critical condition, and that's that my transport cannot be sunk. Because if the transport is sunk, then the torpedo boats have no tender to return to, and all of the torpedo boats will be considered lost, and the scenario will be finished. So, I will be able to park the transport, well, that is insofar as I can park it, considering it's going to be only AI controlled. I cannot dictate what a transport does or doesn't do. And it's going to be me just controlling the torpedo boats. Right, so let's get to designing a couple of torpedo boats. In case you want to send in your own scenario, by the way, you can. You can do so through the link down below in the description. I don't take scenarios in the comment section anymore, so please don't post them there. This ship, basic steam expansion. I would like a bit more horsepower per ton than 13.5. Let's say, yeah, we're only going to be using coal. We might get a bit more out of the induced draft boilers. Funnel capacity is going to go up pretty high. Main tower. You cannot really get that creative with these torpedo boats, unfortunately. I mean, I could try and put this on here, but then I wouldn't even know where to put the main tower. Although, arguably, I don't need an advanced front tower because it's not really going to come down to gun accuracy. It's going to come down to torpedoes on these things. So let's go with a small front tower. And then as for the funnel, let's see how high the efficiency gets. 59.6. Okay. 76. Yeah, so I'm going to have to bring two of these potentially. But I can't fit that on the ship. Now, for some reason, there is this weird situation in Alpha 7 where I can set the displacement to 800 and the ship actually increases in size, but it says cannot build any displacement above torpedo boats for 600 tons. So it's really weird in that sense. Now, seeing as I cannot really move the front tower anywhere else, I don't think I'm going to have a lot of room to put that funnel system. If I would want those enhanced funnels, it would probably just be a lot of weight for not a lot of gain. This is 21 tons of funnel, and I only get 4 funnel capacity. Whereas if I go for the 9 tons of funnel, so less than half, I get 3.5 funnel capacity versus 4. So I guess I'm just not going to have a very efficient engine on these boats. Now, they do require at least one main gun. I'm not really going to be investing too much in the gun, because that would mean that I also have to start putting up additional upgrades like electrical turrets, potentially bigger propellant, bigger shells. I don't really want to do any of that. I'm going to be a torpedo boat. So a 2-inch gun should be good enough to, I don't know, keep the sharks off of us, maybe? Now, torpedo launchers, you can only have single tubes in this day and age. Ideally put them next to, or maybe even in front of the main tower. Yeah, that second tube is going to be a problem because it's going to be in front of the other one, and thereby limiting its angle of fire. Let's see, how big can I make these? Only 18-inch. Propellant? Fasts. Currently, they only have a range of 1.5, which is very, very low for a torpedo. Then again, it is the 1900s. It will require me to get into extreme range, so extremely short range. If I set them to fast, it's going to drop to 1. And torpedo speed increases to 38 knots relative to the 30... Oh, sorry, that's the torpedo diameter. 29.5. Alright, I'll use fast torps. 18 inch. And beyond that, well, torpedo boats don't come with armor. You get hit, you die. It's that simple. I will bring a few more torpedoes with the ship. And then, I guess, another set of torpedo tubes. This is pretty much it. This is what I'm going to have to roll with. I don't really think that I can fix that aft weight offset too much, because that would require me to start shifting around torpedo tubes, but there's just not really any room to do so. These things are 24 tons each. If I could move the funnel slightly farther back, that might fix the issue. 2.7. I think this is about as good as it's going to get. Now, the weight offset is going to impact the ship a bit. I don't think it's going to be terrible. Let's see here, longitudinal weight offset. I'm going to have a little bit less acceleration, a bit of accuracy penalty, but that's mostly for the gun. We're going to have a slightly higher flooding chance, but then again, if we take a hit, we're probably going to be dying anyway. So the flooding shouldn't be that much of a problem. And I'll actually decelerate a bit faster, interestingly. Alright, let's launch. Now, my plan with my torpedo boats is to charge in, and by doing so, I'll have the entire group capable of firing from one side. Then we're going to be turning around and trying to torpedo with the other side. For now, it's going to be just forming up. There was one torpedo boat which was not part of the formation. The transport, the Vladivostok, is heading away from the fight at a mere 13.5 knots. And the torpedo boats, Borgo, Lachotska, what is that? Sistroretsk, Skumbria, and Galka are going to move up towards the British ships. The enemy smoke's been spotted to the north. With 1900 tech, I think I might be spotting them when I get to 6 kilometers out, something in that radius. And that's going to mean that they are going to have a similar spotting problem, because they will be seeing my torpedo boats later than I'll be seeing them. Now, are we all lined up? No, not quite. Alright, let's slow down a bit. Let the rest of these guys catch up. Golka is still trying to fall in formation. I might actually benefit this time around from having a tight formation. It says they get an accuracy bonus. That's actually debatable, because that, I think, only goes for the main guns. So it's not really going to benefit me that much, only in the sense that I can drop a few more torpedoes onto a target. Now I'm going to try and approach this warship from directly to the bow, because then those side guns cannot fire. I'm not exactly sure if I'm fighting a battleship or a heavy cruiser. Could be either, but you could argue that the battleship would get spotted before the other guy would. Identification should be pretty quick, considering we're almost on top of this ship. The game is thinking it might be a heavy cruiser. Oh no, no, not already. Torpedo range is 1 click. I'm gonna have to close in more. Increase the flank. Whenever I say increase the flank, I always think of Sean Connery in Hunt for Red October. Their voyage through the canyons, or through the, what was it called again? You know, where they take the Red October, which is currently under torpedo attack, right through that valley, underwater. Alright, if the Borgo could survive for a little bit longer, that would be much appreciated, because then I can still launch torpedoes. The Swiftsure is a battleship that does 23 knots. She has minimum bulkheads. How much torpedo protection does she have? Not a lot. Torpedo 1. Anti-flood 2, so she can pump a little faster. She has a enhanced reload. 17-inch torpedoes of her own, which are mounted bow and stern. 11-inch guns and 11-inch wing guns. 3-inch secondaries and 2-inch secondaries. So she should have very little trouble dealing with a couple of torpedo boats here and there. Now the Borgo is going to try and fall back, because she has been taken for a bit of a ride by the British. I don't want her to turn though. Ooh. These British warships are actually a lot more accurate than I was hoping for. Now over here in the distance we can also see another ship. This might be the heavy cruiser, considering it's fairly large. And the light cruisers would then be over there in the smoke screens. Right, so that's one of my 5 torpedo boats gone. Let's see if I can get the Lachotska in range of the Swiftsure. The rest of the torpedo boats are pretty far spread out, which I really don't like. That accuracy for that British battleship is pretty damn good. It's 7%. Ow. This is not going to go well, is it? This is really not going to go well. Torpedo boats are interesting ships to use, but they're tricky to get right. Maybe I need to go with more speed. Speed can offer a severe debuff, and that might be the way through. Because if I can get a severe debuff on the enemy's accuracy, I might be able to get into range, but only just. Now, Setroretsk is 1.3 clicks away from firing range. Oh, the heavy cruiser's getting involved. Ow. This British battleship has some accuracy. You gotta hand them that. Rangefinder coincidence 1. Well, they are exceptionally accurate with those coincidence rangefinders. And I think that I'll still not be able to get into range. So let's try and just get out in front of this guy. Because I'm trying to catch up to it, which is getting me killed. And it has been getting me killed with the last 2 torpedo boats that tried this maneuver. And considering I'm starting at 30 knots and now only doing 18 knots, it's probably not going to work. I do, however, think that if I can land 1 or 2 torpedoes against the Swiftsure, that she will go down. Because she doesn't have a lot of armor. And she doesn't have, or well, so much armor, torpedo protection. And with minimum bulkheads on that ship, it's going to be trouble for them. All that flooding. It's going to be pretty deadly. Alright, she's flooding. She's flooding quickly at that. 70%. Hard to port. We need to take down a heavy cruiser. She just landed another torpedo, and she's gone. Whoa. Okay, so you get into range, you lock on, and you murder him. It is that simple. Alright, Scumbria, we're going to take down the light cruiser, and Golka, you're going to take down the heavy cruiser. I think that the Setroretsk can function as a bit of a decoy until that happens. But I'm not even sure if this light cruiser, the Diadem, is even impressed at all. As it, for the most part, seems to be ignoring the Setroretsk, considering it's disabled anyway. It seems to be taking shots immediately at the Scumbria. Torpedoes for 1. Scumbria has still no permission to fire from me because she's not in range. Not that she's going to fire, but I want to know exactly how I can employ those torpedoes. We set a fire on the heavy cruiser using the 4-inch gun, I imagine. Oh, sorry, not the 4-inch gun, the 2-inch gun. Alright, then I'm going to have to divide the retention between 2 torpedo boats. Well, ow. That was fast. Heavy cruiser Argyle has 11-inch guns, 5-inch casemates, and 2-inch casemates. And I think that the Golka is not going to get any kind of torpedoes away. She simply will be dead before that happens. She's gone. Okay, so that was not the most efficient design. Let's try something a little faster. 38 knots. This means that I'll be much, much more difficult to hit. It also means that I'll probably not even be able to get the ship out of the dock because she's too heavy. And it means that my engine efficiency is going to be terrible at 11.5%. That really is atrocious. 14.8. I wonder if I can actually make anything happen with 38 knots. I will have far fewer torpedo tubes because those things weigh a ton. And I still have to add a main gun for 3 tons. So that's not going to fit. This will help. And forced or induced boilers. There we go, 32%. That's a little better. Now, torpedo propellant. Let's go for standard. Instead of the fast. Gives me 500 meter range extra. And just strap on another torpedo tube there. These things were what, 9 tons? 9 tons, yeah, but there's no room on the deck. Standard funnel, no. That's the problem with these small ships, you don't have room. Unless you're really... No, you can't do that. You cannot put a funnel in front of the tower. That would be the bridge crew pretty much inhaling all the smoke that's coming out of the main funnel. Which would probably not be an enjoyable experience. Alright. Second attempt. Torpedo boats as fast as they can be. Minimum bulkheads. Torpedo or protection is absolutely none. And, well, let's hope that I can get away with it this time. The AI will have generated different ships. Enemies once again spotted to the north. I'm thinking, would a line abreast formation help me? It's giving me maximum frontal firepower, but that's not really what I need. Because the frontal firepower is not the strength of these torpedo boats. They have their torpedo tubes in the port and starboard side. So no, line abreast wouldn't help me. Alright. Speed to full for now, until I know that all the torpedo boats are actually more or less joining this group. And there we go. The Pernov and the Viborg are doing their own thing. Whatever that is. Oh. Slow down. Viborg, I want you to detach from the group. I want the Pernov to detach from the group. Get out. We're going to have those two ships as a separate formation. And something else that I want to have happen is having all of these ships relatively close to each other. All of my torpedo boats. Because what happened in the previous run is that the British just kept picking them off one by one. And that was very effective for the Brits. But made sure that I couldn't get into range. Tight formation. Torpedo boats, tight formation. This could cause additional shells to land on unintended targets. But what I'm really hoping for is that it's going to allow my torpedo boats to just bunch up and very quickly overwhelm an enemy target. Increase to 22 knots. We have already found a British ship. It's a relatively similar build. And we are currently... how far? 5 clicks out. Alright, increase the flank speed. It's probably going to take me a while to get up to flank speed with that low efficiency. Oh, look at them go. 11 knots, 12 knots, 13 knots. Golka in the lead. I foresee trouble in the future here. For the Golka. She is going to be the primary target of this warship. Although, hold on a second, I haven't been spotted. Golka spotted question mark, but question mark hasn't spotted me. Ooh. Unfortunately, I'll not be able to get up to my full speed. I'm doing 15 knots. And that's alright, but it's a far cry from my actual 38 knot top speed. I was too busy trying to sort out my formations and did not spend enough time on trying to get the ships into an actual high-speed approach. So that might come back and haunt me. Alright, which side do we want to pass by? I'd say pass them by on their port side. I want you guys to hold your fire. Oh, the light cruisers are very close. That could be a problem. Because this guy might not have a lot of firepower. But they do. Especially against lighter ships. Golka is on fire. Torpedo range, almost. 19, 18. 17. Whoa. 16. 15. Minimum bulkheads. Fine, it's your funeral. Torpedoes away from Golka, starboard side. Maintain course. I want the others to also join in with their torpedoes. The Britannia has detected the torpedoes, but I really doubt that she'll be able to do much about it. Even if she does do something about it, I wonder how long it's going to take her to sink. Anti-flood 2, anti-torp 1. She has responded in kind by launching her own torpedoes. But 2 torpedoes slam into the Britannia and cripple her. Very quickly flooding, very much damaged machinery, and she's gone. Courtesy of a flash fire, of all things. Alright, that's not too bad. Golka, I want you to detach. This is going to be a bit of a mess. Borgo to the right. Golka back. See if you can fix yourself up. We got some other ships to sink. So far, none of the others have launched. That's good. There is one torpedo heading that way. I think that might have been from the port launcher of the Golka. Now we have the Undaunted over here. 6-inch guns, 3-inch casemates, and look at the accuracy this time. 0.5%. That's what happens if you make your ship 38 knots. And the Pernov is actually getting relatively close to that speed. She's doing 32. So she is doing good speed, making herself very difficult to hit. There goes the Golka. That was the lead ship. Let me guess. Yeah, minimum bulkheads, check. Alright, Pernov, starboard torpedo tubes. And then we're going to do a drive-by on the other one. Torpedoes away. Maintain course. Speed, 32 knots. Near enough. Torpedoes away. They've been detected by the Undaunted. But I very much doubt that the Undaunted is going to be able to do much about that. Next target is the Birkenhead. 2 torpedoes slam into the Undaunted. The Pernov has launched her torpedoes, but she's almost sailing into those herself, but the damage is done. The torpedoes are underway, hitting the Birkenhead amidship, and the second one gets evaded. Viborg surviving. I'm going to have you turn off your torpedoes for the moment. This time around I'll win. Speed really is life for these little things. 1 click out. Torpedoes away from Viborg. That's the port launcher. The Powerful also had to evade the torpedo that was initially going for the Birkenhead. Oh crap, there are more torpedoes in the way. That's probably your doing. Those cannot possibly be the starboard torpedoes from the Viborg, because I turned off her torpedo launcher. Angle of approach is pretty bad. Let's see, your main guns are probably still turning. Yeah, they're turning to the port side. If you can, go ahead. Oh dear, I think we're gonna lose the Viborg. But we still have the Bongo. Sorry, the Borgo. The Bongo. Torpedoes have run out and detonated. Pernoff sinks. So far I have lost 3 torpedo boats, but I've sunk 2 light cruisers and a battleship. So displacement-wise, we are definitely winning this fight. Now, just to give you an impression of the weight discrepancy here, the Borgo is 600 tons. The heavy cruiser Powerful is 12,300 tons. So that ship is significantly heavier than my own. Even if I do lose all of my torpedo boats, I'll still come out ahead massively. And that's just the Powerful. If you look at the relative damage to the battleship, which was probably, I don't really check, 15,000, 17,000 tons, something in that region. 5 torpedo boats for a total of 3,000 tons. Sinking something that's 5 times heavier and then getting the escort ships as well. I'd call that a win. Alright, torpedoes away. Borgo has also torpedoed. Unfortunately, they torpedoed both at the same time. That's not really what I wanted to. Because that heavy cruiser doesn't have to make too much of a move to avoid all the torpedoes. Although it's going to be difficult because we've got torpedoes coming in from here and here. And there will be more as the port launchers from the Borgo are eager to do some damage. The heavy cruiser seems to be slowing down a bit and turning to port, evading the first wave of torpedoes. So we'll have to dunk the next 2 at minimum range. There's one. It's the bow of the Powerful. The other torpedoes have missed, but the Powerful, with minimum bulkheads, is going to be struggling. Now, I kind of doubt if any of these ships actually have torpedo tubes left, which are currently ready. I don't believe so. So we can do one more thing. Ooh, could you not? This heavy cruiser is getting pretty damn accurate. And these boats don't need much to take a hit to sink. Like that. Oh, we have a torpedo. 2 torpedoes. Yep, that's going to put the Powerful down. How the mighty have fallen. These torpedo boats might need some duct tape and a bit of dinging out. But otherwise, well, I'd say the British have been shown that the tender with a couple of torpedo boats is actually pretty damn useful. The Powerful is flooding pretty much over her entire keel now, and that's going to be the end of her. There will be 2 survivors in the form of the Vrjiv and the Borgo. So, concept useful. Having a tender with torpedo boats, arguably, but only if you have a lot of speed on your torpedo boat. Otherwise, it's going to be very, very quickly to sink. And that's going to just negate the advantage that you have. You're small, you're relatively difficult to hit, but not if you're slow. So, torpedo boats, fast, good. Torpedo boats, slow, dead. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comment section, and I'll catch you guys soon for another video.